Hello everyone and welcome. I'm glad you could join me today. I hope you're having a great day. Today I want to show you how to make this rather dramatic looking card, which is like a black magic card. And this is a technique that I learned from Tina Wardell of Tina's Crafty Ink Spot. Now, Tina is someone I've been following for the last few years, and she is what I would consider to be a master colorist. She is really good at the coloring, all the different coloring techniques. So if you have not saw her videos or you don't currently follow her, I highly recommend checking it out. Again, it's Tina's Crafty Ink Spot. She's really great. I think you're gonna like what she does. So I want to show you this technique, and you can try to make one for yourself. So what we're going to do is, obviously this is black cardstock, and we're going to stamp the image with the white craft ink that Stampin' Up! Has in the catalog. I don't know if you've missed it. And this is a different kind of an ink. It's not the water-based ink that the rest of the stamp pads are made from. This is a craft, like a craft ink, as it says right on the stamp container, and it's stickier, so it's a little bit more difficult to clean. So it's not gonna, you have to give it a little bit of an extra rubbing on your cleaning cloths. But so if you haven't used this white craft ink, check it out. There's a lot of different uses for it, and we're going to use it to make today's card. So let me just tell you what you're going to need to make this. So I'm using some gorgeous grape cardstock, cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4 standard, and we're gonna use it portrait style. Then you're gonna cut a piece of the basic white cardstock, just 1/4 inch smaller all around. So you'll cut it at 5 1/4 by 4, and then you're gonna cut a piece of black cardstock, and we're going to cut that also 1/4 inch smaller than the white. So you're going to cut it at 5 inches by 3 3/4. So I'm going to set this aside a little bit, and we will, let's see, oh, here it is. Let me get my stamp set. So for the flowers, the stamp set I'm using is Honeybee Home, and I'm going to stamp this image, and we're going to do it twice. As you can see, I did 2 different ones. So if you have a different stamp set, whatever you may happen to have available, something with flowers on it, and it doesn't have to be flowers on a stem. It could be pretty much anything that you may have that has flowers or some kind of an image that you really like. But in this case, I'm going to use this particular image. So let me get that out. Okay, and I am going to get my stamping block. Let me see, is that going to fit? Yes. That will do just fine. Okay. All right. You open my craft ink. As you can see, it's a well-loved pad. Has a lot of different, seems to have a lot of different colors. I'm not sure how that all happened, but okay. So it's, like I said, it's a little stickier kind of an ink because it's a craft ink rather than a water-based ink. And you'll see it, you can see that it's completely covered in white ink. Okay, let me turn this sideways so I have a better shot at getting this correct the first time. And you can certainly do this with your Stamparatus if you feel comfortable with your Stamparatus, which I love my Stamparatus. If I'm using an image that is a pretty large image and I'm concerned that I may not get adhesion, just with the first time, stamping, then I know I need to use my Stamparatus, because if you don't get it right the first time, you're not likely to be able to place the stamp exactly where it was the first time. But on your Stamparatus, where it's on the plate, all you have to do is open the Stamparatus, re-ink it, put it back down until you get the colors that you, the depth of color that you want. So this one I think I'm going to be fine with. As you can see, it's on the paper. Let's see, now we'll do it a little bit off to the side. So I'm giving it a press. There we go. Like that. I'll clean that later. So in order to do the coloring, you'll want to use the coloring pencils, the watercolor pencils. Now we're not going to put any water in it, but the reason I'm using the watercolor pencils is because if I were to use the Stampin' Blends, which are alcohol based, it will bleed into the white craft ink and it'll blur it, and the alcohol it spreads, and I don't want that. So with the coloring pencils, you will be able to color just within the lines of the white craft ink. So you don't want to, you want the white craft ink to stand out as the, as you can, we'll take a look at this. So you can see the white craft ink is pretty visible, and it makes a nice border around the purple, the Gorgeous Grape. And that's what we're going to use. We're going to use the pull out. So this particular one, and there's two different boxes. Let me see. Let me get the other box. There's two different boxes of watercolor pencils. So this box that we're going to use today has Cherry Cobbler, Flirty Flamingo, Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, Granny Apple Green, Garden Green, Coastal Cabana, Balmy Blue, Night of Navy, and Gorgeous Grape. And this other set of pencils that's also in the catalog has Real Red, Calypso Coral, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point, Ritual Raspberry, Melon Mambo, Early Espresso, Basic Gray, Basic Black, and although you can't see it, there is a Whisper White pencil. No, we don't call it Whisper White anymore. So the thing that's great about the watercolor pencils is when you're coloring, not on this particular card, but on any of your other projects, you can dip it into a little bit of water, do your coloring, dip your pencil into a little bit of water, and you will get a more vibrant color. So play around with them, and I think you're going to like using them. So for this project, I'm going to pull out the Gorgeous Grape and the Garden Green. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Garden Green, and don't be afraid to press down hard on the cardstock over the white part of it, because you'll get a much deeper color. So I'm coloring the stems, I'm coloring the leaves. There we go. So you'll see how I'm doing this. Let me go to this one. And it doesn't really take all that much time to do the coloring. As you can see, it's coming together pretty quickly. Okay, I think I got all the green pieces. Color in that a little bit more. All right, and now we'll just do the purple part. And really you just, it's just like coloring in a coloring book. Just gonna color in the, now I'm using a black cardstock, but really you could use any dark cardstock. It doesn't have to be black, it's just I happen to choose black. Because it was, I thought using black would be kind of a more vibrant color, more dramatic. Now, I'm not doing any coloring like shading, like, dark versus light. I'm just using the Gorgeous Grape, and that's it. I'm just coloring it in kind of monochromatic. If I were doing it on white cardstock, I might try to do some shading, but there's no Highland Heather, so I couldn't go from Gorgeous Grape to like a lighter Highland Heather. So I'm just sticking with the Gorgeous Grape. Like I said, don't be afraid to really press down on the paper because as you press down on it, the deeper your color will be. So you can see it's, it's come together pretty nice, just doing a little bit of, with a little bit of coloring. And that's it. That's all the coloring we're going to do. So now we will, I'm going to just tack this down onto the white cardstock. And I'm just going to use some liquid glue, which is my favorite because you get a little bit of forgiveness when you do the liquid glue. So when you tack it down, you can adjust it in terms of the placement versus Stamp and Seal, which works great, but once it's down and you can't reposition it. Okay. There we go. Very nice. So what I want to do before I tack this down onto this piece, actually what I could do, so on this one, so as you can see, I put a piece of the Gorgeous Grape ribbon around it. So I'm going to do that. Now, this Gorgeous Grape ribbon, I put an R on it because it's retiring. So when a new catalog comes out on May 3rd, this ribbon is not going to be in it. And as you can see, it's a really delicate, I love it. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm keeping it. So if you don't have it and it's something that you want, then I would highly recommend that you get it before it's no longer available, because even after the new catalog comes out, certain products will still be available for purchase until while supplies last, and when they're gone, they're gone. So if you like it, like I do, yeah, then you would want to get it. Okay, so on this one, I made a bow. On this one, if you're not great at making bows, hey, I totally get that. We're not always great at it, but you know what? I'm just going to cut the other end of this. So I'm not dealing with the spool Okay. I'm not going to do a bow. Just going to tie it in a little knot. So you'll bring your top tail, I guess, if you will, and just bring it around and tie it in a little knot. Right? It's a faux bow. So if you're not good at tying bows, or you don't feel like it, we're not always in the mood to fuss with it, let's tie it into a little knot. Oops. Well, it looks just as good. Doesn't that look cute? Okay. Now I'm ready to tack it down onto the gorgeous grape card base. I'm going to roll it up, turn it over and give it a little back rub. There we go. Okay, and then I have, okay. Then what I'm going to do to hold this little ribbon in place is I am going to just take a little mini glue dot and these are in the catalog, and I'm just going to place it on the knot of the bow, and if any of it sticks out, just, you know, tuck it underneath so you can't see it. Okay. And then press it down and that will hold it in place. Now I'm also going to put another one on the other side. I'm going to put it over here. Now you'll be able to see it through the ribbon, but it's going to be covered by the sentiment label. So I'm just going to place it under and press it down. I just want to hold it in place. Okay. So now I want to stamp my sentiment, which I'm going to make, I'm going to put the Happy Easter from the Celebrating You stamp set. This was from the January to June mini catalog, and it is in fact being carried over into the 2022 annual catalog. So I'm going to again use the Happy Easter. Let's see, where's the Easter one? Oh, up at the top. Okay. And I'm going to use some gorgeous grape ink. Great. Okay. Now I'm just going to trim around the sentiment label with my paper trimmer. You can use your scissors too. I'm not always great at doing a straight line with my scissors, so I'm just going to do the paper trimmer. I'll trim just a tiny bit off the other side. Okay. And we're going to put it right there with some dimensionals. Oops. Here we go. And lastly, and this is optional, I have these Pastel Pearls that they're $6.50. These are in the catalog, and I'm going to use the, we've got the pink, we've got the Highland Heather, we have the gray, and we have Gorgeous Grape. So I'm just going to use a couple of the Gorgeous Grape. I'm just going to put them at the bottom. And that's it. We have it. Just very simple. Now, if you do your flower, like on this one, I did it a little bit higher up on the black cardstock. This one, I did it a little bit lower. So you could put a sentiment up here instead of down here. So I can always peel that off and put a sentiment up here. But whatever you choose to do. So pretty simple as a dramatic card, because it's on black cardstock with the white craft ink, so it looks kind of different than the standard cards that we're used to making. I hope you like it. If you like what I'm doing, please hit the like button down below and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. Leave me a comment. I would love to hear what you have to say. And hopefully you will tune in for another video. I appreciate it and have a great day.